Hello everybody, recently I made these two videos on why are you falling in love with your flesh again, and I put links to them right here and here so that you can watch them after I'm done. The reason for this video is that I had this conversation in the chat room of a Bambi Cantrell workshop last weekend, and Bambi said that she could make tech-sharp photos hand-holding her Canon D1D with the 70-200 mounted full weight and just make tech-sharp photos, and at 1/4 of a second. And this is an amazing amount of time, especially if you are working with continuous light or no flash or no artificial light at all. And we had this little discussion, and I want to explain why a flash is freezing your action, and at least if you are working with flash you can have this tech sharp photos too. And better said, I explained this in these two videos, but I want to explain why this happens. So as there was one chat member who said, oh, 1/4 of a second is 1/4 of a second no matter what, so in metaphysical aspect you are totally right to say that, but you have to see what happens within this 1/4 of a second. So if we, for example, let's say we have here our 1/4 of a second or 1/4 of a second, 1/4 of a second, and we have this time span. Here's what's happening when you use flash. By the way, you can change this to 1/50 of a second now. However, what will happen is, if you have set your camera to shoot at the first curtain, what will happen is here, boom, your flashlight will go off. In this first portion of this 1/4 of a second, it will freeze the action, so you will have a tech sharp photo, and in the rest of the timeline, the light of the ambient light, you will let some ambient light in. And this is why you are choose for lower shutter speeds if you are using flash. You want to have ambient light in it so that the backgrounds are not just black, and you don't bang all the atmosphere out of your party, for example. If you have your camera set at to do this at the first curtain, it will look like this. If this should happen on the second curtain, it will look the other way around. So this portion will be on the right side. It will be before the shutter goes will close again. The flash will go off and bang, freeze the action then. And this could also be seen as the flash vs the continuous light. So if you have big lamps and you want to shoot with continuous light, you probably have the problem, if you are not Bambi Cantrell, that you will have motion blur in it, because you see here at this point we have our proper lighting, our proper exposure. If you take this away, the complete time range will be proper exposed for your subject. And I don't talk about aperture here now, because I just want to discuss the, in fact, I don't just want to discuss the shutter speed. So here is the complete time range proper exposed, and this will have the effect that you have much more time for a motion blur. The other way around, if you don't have the, as I just mentioned, you don't have that much time for to produce motion blur. So here your object will be frozen and the rest will just be ambient light. Of course, this ambient light, during the ambient light portion of this shutter speed cycle, you will have plenty of time left for motion blur, but as this is not that proper exposed as your subject is right here, this motion blur will at most look like a little bit ghosting around your subject if you don't keep your camera tight and steady. And I have to think if I did forget something, but I think we are okay. Yes, this is it. This is how it works. So make sure to watch this example videos. In video 1 you see me shooting my dog, and in video 2 you see the example photos. So now I put the links right here, and